top-of-line hardware and then combine it with really smart software. We are a software company, so we are in a natural position to take advantage of this and really, really work hard on coupling these two things. So I'm going to talk about both hardware and software. To start with, let's focus on software. The Mi4i camera is itself an important part of our design, like I told you earlier. It's this just beautiful, flat to the surface, flush camera that's very, very discreet. In fact, we use the same patented technology from Mi Note to build a camera into a really, really thin device. And it really makes a design come together. It's lovely. We're shipping, what's inside, in fact, are the highest quality optical and electronics components that you can find. We're shipping the highest sensor, 13 megapixels from Sony and Samsung, a 5-element lens with an f2.0 aperture, which lets in a lot of light. And these are the same components, by the way, that we use on Mi Note. It is what a flagship camera should be, in our opinion. We designed Mi4i with a two-tone flash, which uses two LEDs. One of them is a cold white LED, the other one is a yellow LED. And what the software does is it takes a measurement of the temperature of the scene and then decides on the combination of white and yellow that will most closely match that scene. So when you take the photo with the flash, it actually looks very natural. Like this scene, for example, which is more on the yellow side. Otherwise, you get this kind of fight between a cold white yellow on the foreground subject and maybe a more, cold white flash on the foreground subject and maybe a yellow background. It kind of doesn't match. It doesn't look very pretty. And sometimes you can't even see what you're trying to photograph because it's very, very dark. And it's even hard to focus in some of these cases. So what we've done is we've built a feature called Torch. For those situations, it's built right into the camera software, and you can actually turn on Torch straight from the camera menu, right next to the flash. So it makes it easy for you to turn it on, focus, frame your shot, and then, of course, it takes the photo. The front camera of Mi4i is also very, very strong. It's a 5-megapixel camera with a 5-element lens as well, f1.8 aperture, and 80-degree wide angle. And I want to talk to you about a couple of the smart camera software features that we've continued to build and optimize, including a couple of new things. The first one that I want to talk about is Beautify, which is a feature that we've actually had for some time, but we've made it a lot better in MIUI 6. And I want to show you a few examples and also explain how it works. Beautify is actually quite clever. It uses a face analysis algorithm to estimate, first of all, your age and your gender. Then it uses 12 different profiles, 6 female and 6 male profiles. And clearly, the designer was trying to win some brownie points here by putting me in the 18 to 30 category somehow. And then for each of these profiles, there's a secret recipe of facial adjustments. And these adjustments will include things like skin smoothing, wrinkle removal, whitening of the lips, even narrowing of the face. And the key here is having different recipes for each of these different profiles. For younger people, especially younger girl, we'll use heavy filtering because that's what they like. For older profiles, maybe 60 years old plus, we'll use a lot of the wrinkle removal, but we'll leave all of the other filters off. The result is that everyone just looks better in many ways. So here's an example. This is my friend Jay. Jay, of course, is very, very pretty naturally, but Beautify gives her this special glow, and it's really awesome. It's super, super natural. So she'll look absolutely stunning, doesn't she? Here's another example. I think Beautify makes her look radiant and even more youthful. It looks incredibly natural as well. These are all actual real shots. You can actually notice that there's small differences between the left and the right because we were asking the subject to stay in place, but of course we can't. But they are actual shots from Beautify. This one was included in the presentation against my will. Let's just say that. But it does show how Beautify tends to make wrinkles really disappear. And I'll tell you, our fan feedback on Beautify has been pretty amazing. People really, really love it. So we've actually turned it on by default